Hi, Rich Carrubba for bowlingball.com. Let's talk about some bowling hot tips. What are some good, useful tips for you to prepare for competition, prepare for a tournament? Maybe going out to bowl in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium in the USBC Open Championship, or maybe just some local tournaments around home. Whatever you do as an advanced player, as a skilled player to prepare. One of the first things we recommend, let's get right to it, is you want to build an organized structure. You want to have a framework to practice. So if you decide to bowl for an hour, 3-4 games, whatever it happens to be, maybe you just make deliveries thinking about 6 different areas of your game, 10 minutes apiece, something like that. And what will happen to you then is you'll get a chance to rehearse all the important components of your physical game that you need to do to tune up. And it's important to tune your game up before a competition so you can make adjustments off a well-tuned game. If your game isn't good, it's hard to make adjustments and make them work. The adjustments are very difficult to make, and have confidence that they'll hold up under pressure unless your basic game is tuned up. And in order to tune your basic game up, you need some good tips on how to organize your practice. First, let's talk about your setup. What I really think is important in your setup is to make sure your knees are flexed. I always tell bowlers, particularly new bowlers, if they're 5'10", for example, in height, bowl at 5'8". Get a little bit lower with knee flex and lean your upper body, your torso forward, maybe 10 degrees, not much, but just a little bit, so the front parts of your shoulders are lined up over your kneecaps and you're in a good athletic position. And that's the term we want to hear, a good athletic position. And you want to maintain that all through your approach. That's the objective. Now, also, too, in your setup, try not to drop your bowling shoulder more than normal, your normal height. When you bowl your best, that's the setup you want. You'd be surprised how dropping the bowling shoulder lower and lower, tilting your torso slightly more than you need to, can adversely affect the route or the path of your arm swing. Okay? Next, footwork. Reduce the tension in your legs. Try to walk softly or very lightly on the approach floor, because what that does is help you not hurry your steps. Even if you're a fast player, you don't want to go with fast footwork. You don't want to go faster than you normally do. You want to regulate the pace of steps. 2 things are important in footwork: tempo and direction. Your rhythm, or the pace you step, and the direction you walk. And your rhythm, you want to maintain the same pace each and every delivery, so you have the same total elapsed time from start to finish, so your arm swing and your hand can rely on that and make calculated and careful releases. And secondly, the direction you walk. You want to try to, if you're a straight line walker, end up on the same board each and every delivery and know where you're ending up, and be able to do it no matter where you play laterally on the approach. Whether you move cross lane to shoot a spare, or a deep inside angle, for example, or you move out to play near the edge of the lane, make sure your drift doesn't change unless you are designing it to do that, unless you intend to drift more than you normally do when you stand in the center of the approach. You'd be surprised how many talented players lose control of their footwork slightly when they play off angles, and that's an important thing to work on. Next, on balance. You want to keep your balance from start to finish. So if you get in a good athletic position in your setup, maintain it all the way through. Some checkpoints: keep your head still. Do not move your head. It helps to keep some focus on your target. The other thing, too, is try not to windmill over, open and close your shoulder during your swing motion. A little bit's okay, but whatever you do normally, try not to exaggerate shoulder motion, and also the tilt of your upper body, either forward, back, and so on. Keeping your balance means making sure that the torso is over the legs properly, and if you keep a certain amount of flex in your knees all the way through your approach to the foul line, as we recommended in your footwork, then the big muscles of the leg come into play, gives you better balance. Also, hurrying yourself can sometimes cause poor balance. So all the things interrelate, but the less amount of wasted motion and the less movement in your upper body, the better balance you're going to have throughout your approach and your release. And finally, next, the swing, rather. When you talk about your arm swing, your timing starts with your push-away motion. The push-away motion can be simply wherever you hold the ball, you drop it straight down to the floor into the swing with a very relaxed arm, and then the ball gets behind you quickly to the top of the backswing. Or you could be a person with a long push-away motion where you fully extend your bowling arm until it locks at the elbow and it shapes downward and behind you. But the key is, don't hold it in front of you. If you push the ball forward, don't stop it while you're moving your feet, because then you make your timing later than you need to be. So keep that swing moving, the timing sequence moving, and also keep that arm swing as loose as possible so it can go back quickly and be in position to come through to the forward swing. If the ball is back into the swing quickly, it hovers for a bit, and then you're ready to start the forward swing and the release motion as you get to the last two steps of your approach. So those are things that you want to do. You don't want to grab the ball at the top of the swing is another key. Grabbing the ball means accelerating or increasing the grip pressure on the bowling ball. That just tenses the forearm muscles and causes the turn to happen too soon. You might rotate the ball sooner than you want to instead of right at the moment of release. And speaking of release, Len, let's check your forward arm swing position so you don't rotate that ball too quickly before you want to. So one of the things that is that grip pressure has to be consistent throughout the swing back and through. You want to make sure that your bowling ball you regulate the loft control and the speed control each and every release. So it's easy to get a consistent release when you have the same ball speed from delivery to delivery, the same amount of loft over the foul line from delivery to delivery, and just a very smooth, consistent releasing action. Those are the tips to try to keep your release under control. Instead of trying to do too much, let the physics of the game and the dynamics of the bowling balls work for you. Also, it helps to have proper alignment techniques as well to help that release be effective. Now, the final thing is your finish and your focus. The finish position is hold your balance at the foul lines of the ball always passes the bowling arrows. It takes about a second for the ball to travel. If you can stay motionless while the ball travels till it passes the target you're focusing on, then your form is good and your balance is good. Chances are you're going to make good releases. If you're falling out of position and you can't hold your form while you're releasing the ball, it's something you need to work on. It'll improve your accuracy to have a good finishing position and your eyes focused on your target. That's important. Your eyes are indicate to your brain, your computer, where you want the ball to go, and your computer sends a message to your hand where to release it. So if you're working so hard thinking about your game and you're not focusing on where you want the ball to go, which should be your number one objective, focusing on your target, then you're going to suffer. So make sure you pay attention to your target. Full concentration each and every delivery. We recommend you check with your coach before you go to a tournament. You should have a coach to work with. Every good bowler should have someone that they see periodically to go through the components of your game, help you tune up. If you have questions about what you're doing, someone that's familiar with your game, has a talented pair of eyes, is an experienced coach, for example, certified instructor, pro shop operator, whoever you trust, you should probably consult with them too to share ideas as part of your, quote, team, unquote, to prepare you for competition. Hope these tips help. A good disciplined hour of practice 3 or 4 times a week in preparation for an event might just be the ticket to help you be successful.